Welcome, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our project management meeting this morning. We'll do quick introductions here at the table. I'm Jenny Knight, City Administrator. Sarah Whitburn, City Planner.
Matt Robertson, City Engineer.
Tyler Seaman, Building Official. Dan Johnson with Pineview.
And behind me, we've got Michelle Tatum, the Mayor.
Jack Cole, the City Reporter.
Angie Franklin, Planning Commission. So first on our agenda this morning, we have a proposed development with parcels over on Washington Boulevard, Marc Hansen. Yes, please, join us at the table and whoever from your team.
There's one.
So we understand it's these three parcels here, is that correct?
Yes. These are the property owners that are coming up. So I'm Marc Hansen. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
William Breckville.
William Kirby. Two Bills and Mark. Okay, so they've hired me to be the broker to try and help sell this or develop it, the property. And we've been getting some, it's been over a year, we've been getting some activity on it, but I just need a better feel on these guys of kind of what's going on with this property and what the potential uses are. We've had a few people present some ideas to us, and I just haven't been comfortable enough to tell them more about it. And so, first question I've got as far as utilities go with this property, I'm assuming there's sewer down Washington Boulevard. There's obviously sewer to the house there. Do we know sewer capacity along that frontage of these properties, if it'll be able to service this property? Then while he's looking that up, the canal that runs in front of the property,
Yeah.
assuming that in the event that this is developed or we, do any type of use with the property, that'll be covered and filled in.
Depending on what the use is, yeah. If it's an irrigation ditch, then it
It's
has
the
to
west,
be.
it's the western canal.
Oh, it's the actual canal,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it'll need.
What's it called?
It's the western canal.
Western Canal.
Yeah,
So we need to pipe that.
so I'm sure it'll need to be piped, but you'll need to work with western irrigation.
On how they want to handle that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously we've got three parcels, there's technically three different owners, but two different owners here. We're assuming that 800 North, you'll want an intersectional line up straight across the street to the 797.
UDOT would require that.
Yeah.
That's UDOT's access on Washington. They control
Okay,
that.
so they'll control that. And then if we were to sell these properties separately, Kirby is to the north. We would have to work with UDOT then to figure out if there's enough distance between if we just sold his property for access on Washington, is that right?
Yeah, just historically with UDOT, any conversations, they'll require a cross-access easement or
So-
any access between those three
Yeah,
properties.
but like you mentioned, they're gonna really push to try to get it lined up with, 800 North, yeah, and then have a process and access easement to the other properties.
So they'll have to come in and then require the process.
So that's what I would assume I mean, as you know, your next step would probably get like a pre-app meeting, with UDOT, see what they say.
Okay. So. I'm just going over the utilities, sewer, water,
Sewer goes down, to, I think it has capacity, but we'll have to verify with Ogden City. It does, so we do have a sewer line. In Washington there, and it ties into an Ogden City sewer at North Street.
right?
So we'll just have to, I don't know of any capacity problems there, but, some verify.
Storm drain as well.
Storm drain, we don't have any in the area, so storm drain's gonna be a little trickier. Yeah, our closest city storm drain over on Larsen Lane.
That's not good enough.
No, it's not
There's a-
great. There's a development going in just to the west of this.
So we may need kind of storm drain there.
And we may need to look at if there's any way to get an easement, and try to, after detaining on your own site, if there's a way to tie into that.
Okay.
But
So we'll need to detain and then find a place to have it release that.
right.
Okay. Storm drain. Okay, I think that's culinary water,
Bonavista Vista.
Buena Vista, get with them. Now, as far as the property itself it goes, Bill's gone in and got the Breckville, so 797. He's has his rezoned at CP2,
Yes.
which I'm assuming is, what do you want all along
Yes. Our
Washington.
future land use map shows that whole thing.
that whole thing going commercial? Do you have any? My worry is in Harrisville and some of these other cities, you can be off one block for retail and commercial and miss the boat.
Yeah.
And it becomes very hard.
So we do have an option, and I think it would be best if all the parcels were tied for this option, but it's part of the mixed use. Mixed use overlay, and I can send you the ordinance, but 51% would have to be commercial, and then the rest could be some type of residential. And that way you could access that frontage and get your commercial in, and then use the back half of the portion for some sort of residential. But to make that work, I would highly recommend working with the property owners to combine the parcels. It's difficult to do smaller parcels with that overlay.
Yeah, thank you, because these lots are like 650 feet deep.
Yeah, they're very deep, so it would be hard for commercial to make
Go
that
all the way
viable.
back there. And then as far as the mixed use, are there restrictions as far as, I'm sure there is, the density that could go for residential?
We don't have it specific, but it is by kind of what the city council is willing to allow. Where it's mixed use commercial, maybe something like townhomes are a possibility, but that's where it's a little bit harder to figure out what the city wants.
So how are mixed use, after we receive an application, and the mayor sets up a committee of one council member, one planning commissioner, we negotiate density of those projects.
Do you have anything that says absolutely no on apartments?
No, not necessarily. But there is open space requirements, so balancing how many units you have and making sure you have enough open space and amenities to support the density is kind of what we're looking at, is making sure it's a viable community. And so basically, we would want the numbers to support an HOA, of course, but making sure it's just a place that people in Harrisville would want to live.
And you don't foresee any way of making this all, you want some commercial.
Yeah, and that, I think where it's so close to Walmart and Washington, right on Washington Boulevard. I think it's gonna be tough to get something that's entirely residential right there.
It's just hard.
I know.
Harrisville, it's hard, because you miss, like I say, you miss by a block or two, and
And just where the freeway access is and everything makes that hard.
yeah, there's not a lot of. I guess it just takes time.
And that's, yeah, we need the houses before we got the commercial
Right.
and that balance. It's really difficult. But the feeling that we're getting from planning commission and from the city council is they want to preserve the commercial corridor.
Along there, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So is it like, you don't have it in your ordinance or anything, is it 100 feet back, or we just have to negotiate that back on 200 feet on how much?
Percentage, 51%.
So 51%, however we want it,
Whole area, yeah.
not necessarily that,
So if you go, there's that 150 feet, all frontage along state roads or highways and speak.
Oh, right, you're right, there it is.
okay, so 150 feet back. We need
Along the
commercial of
length
some
of the
kind.
entire frontage, yeah.
And if we designate that commercial to the front 150 feet, do we have to have that built and developed before we can do the residential, or as long as that's? So,
That's something I think it is difficult to put the commercial in right away. But I know we do have a lot of council members that really want to see that commercial come in. maybe we could do some sort of a timeline, and work with you on that.
With
That-
development agreement,
Yeah, something
because we
like
can't,
that.
we don't know when the commercial will come is the problem.
I know, and we have to have the houses before the commercial is really viable, so. The most important thing I think would be preserving the commercial corridor so that when it's ready, we do get commercial in. Definitely the maintenance of that property would be involved.
Yeah, cause up the road, I think there's another developer that put townhomes behind and the commercial pads have been sitting there for about 5 or 6 years.
Yes, that was the first kind of mixed use. And then they scrapped that mixed use ordinance because of it.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
Right, and adopted a new.
So you're trying to avoid that again, okay, is that, got-
Unfortunately, that's the bad taste the council still has in their mouth. It's, and we haven't had a project that's put their commercial in to kind of counterbalance their bad taste yet, so
we'd have to get a little creative.
it's just a challenge, right?
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but it's just a challenge.
I can see their side too, though, they don't wanna spec a building if they don't have any.
Yeah, we recently, in fact, this week, we had that conversation with our council about shell and commercial. And obligating that space to something that maybe there's a better viable product later, and so they did change their minds Tuesday night a little
Yeah,
bit.
so maybe there is an opening there, like you said, getting creative and figuring out how to convince the city that this would be in their best interest. And that I think if it's maintained in the meantime, that's one of their biggest concerns. They just don't want
Yeah,
to see the nice.
Yeah, that is a nice one.
Yeah,
So if we had it landscape. Like,
yeah,
until something, then that may help.
that would definitely go a long way, long way.
The city that doesn't wanna maintain it.
No, sorry, that's a hard one.
Belmont dry skin, right?
Well, we didn't go as far as secondary. Is this in Pine View?
But,
Is there?
do you guys have anything?
We don't have anything in Washington, the closest is Larsen Lane. So you'd have to come either behind or take it out to Washington and come down Washington. But that would be a lot harder.
Is there any path to connect with Oak Hollow Lumber?
Yeah,
Maybe work with them.
Yeah, so. A couple of the gentlemen here have the development just to the west.
Okay,
They're gonna be installing Pine View through their development. I mean, this whole conversation just keeps me thinking, I mean, it may be too far down the road here, but 'cause they're just about approved with their whole development, but I'm like, gosh, it would have been nice to have all of this
Connect these all
together.
together, utilities.
That,
roads.
yeah,
I think at one time they had tried and I don't know.
I know.
I know the history, I don't
Yeah.
remember what happened, why it didn't work.
Right, because we would love to, have some connectivity from Larsen Lane up to Tyne and 800 North and have this all go together. But like I said, they're so far down the road, I don't know if that's a possibility, but at least some utility connections you're probably looking at that for secondary and storm drain.
And I don't wanna cause anybody any other problem, but do you know if they're stubbing any roads into this property?
The stub road that they have is a little bit further south from these 3 parcels. So the stub road that they do have coming through there, well. And it doesn't come all the way to the back of these properties. So the back of these properties would be the back of a few of their lots.
Okay, so no, all access for this property, according to their plan, would need to come off Washington.
I mean, you could stay and listen to their session and see what happens. Yeah,
We don't wanna cause them any problems, I know how hard that is.
yeah. But
So Matt,
We would
we're
love
open to having a conversation.
I'd
And
love
we
it.
know, Bill and Bill and had a lot of conversations with them in the
Yeah.
past, so we're.
I'd love to have that connected.
yeah.
Like I said, I know you guys are way down the road.
We may be too far down the road, but we're certainly open to helping.
Yeah,
Appreciate that. Okay, any other questions for you guys?
Really, there is a storm drain, I think, that drains into that canal right there, isn't that true?
that's gonna be a hard no from Western. So there may be, so the Western Canal does have a lot of storm drain connections in Ogden City and through here, all the way through. They've they've taken a pretty hard stance of no more storm drain because they keep getting flooded everywhere when we get these big storms.
I see.
And that just happened this year, so they're pretty upset about it.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Different.
You don't wanna poke the star.
A couple of weeks ago, it was pretty ugly.
Yeah, that, as far as containing that canal, though, that's something that is pretty much a need.
Yeah.
Whether it would be just a portion of it or just a small part of it to help develop the frontage on my lot there, is that something that, I guess we would have to talk with,
With West.
yeah, so I guess that conversation will be with them.
Yeah.
And
If this was your guys' property, what would you recommend?
I would do front commercial, back, some sort of denser residential,
Some type of residential?
yeah.
Or you do a big nursery back there, plant trees and so
That's
Commercial, yeah.
on.
No storage units.
No storage units, storage.
Everyone hates those.
No, everyone needs them,
I
so,
know it.
you know,
No store, that's a no, then, no storage units.
It's not allowed in our commercial.
Okay, so that's not allowed. Ordinance. Commercial, other, I've got the uses here, so we can.
Yeah, it's just not an approved use. We allow it in our manufacturing zone, but this is on the other side of the city.
Okay,
Yeah, Mark,
You're basically looking at, you're looking at wanting to bring in 800 north in, and then any residential in the back, you're gonna have to have road access back there also.
Yes, we would.
and it would be nice if it connects to the existing residential, that would make kind of a nice transition and make for, yeah, just better community in general, but.
yeah,
I'll see how that
I'm sure you can give us Glade Lane, but there's there, these are the three lots that you were talking about right here.
okay, so they would back those lots, so they would
I mean, if there was any way to work with them and bring it through, that'd be awesome. But
then potentially lose 2 lots, and have to be compensated. Right.
Yeah, and that we're gonna have another discussion with them shortly.
Well, there you go for a minute. Okay, thank you for doing this meeting. It saved us about 3 days worth of work, tracking everything down and doing everything.
Yeah, and usually our other utilities are here, but
as long as
yeah, they must have. had-
As long as Dan's here,
That's right.
so
Thank you.
thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is properties located at North Highway 89, 2458 David City.
Great idea.
Come on up.
How you doing?
Well, how are you? Chairs out, make yourselves comfortable there. Like,
I'm Chris with Green Associates, it's David Skeen, yeah, property owner. We had worked with the committee on this project with density and layout.
Holland Group,
Right,
right?
the Holland Group. And we had come back to this plan. We took out townhomes here and added more of the patio home type styles and put this pathway in. We sent this back in, got an email back from, I think Angie.
I know Angie responded, and we also have responses from Steve, alright.
So based on that, the Holland Group is gone. So they're no longer working with this project. So what David wants to do is, this is the plan that we want to go forward with. Losing 50 to 70% of the density just doesn't work. So the plan to get the 51%, we have the commercial on Highway 89. These units up here were live work concept units. And then these were like a patio home, cottage home style lot. So that's kind of what we worked with the committee. We felt we were going down the right road, and then we got the email to reduce our density by half. So that's where David is now, is he's back with the project. He lost his buyer. And so his preference is to go forward with this plan.
So I can speak to this. So when we were working with the committee, we felt we were very clear in letting them know that the density was not going to work. And what happened is we kept saying, okay, we would like more patio homes, but then they kept reducing open space and adding more townhomes, and the overall density never reduced like the committee was recommending. So that's why the emails came at the end, seemed really abrupt, is because that's what I asked Angie and Steve. I said, we need to hear really clear vision of what you want for density, because we keep getting the same density and we're still not really meeting commercial, we're not meeting that 51%. And so it's gonna be hard to have anything that isn't significantly reduced density on this property, especially where we're not meeting the commercial recommendation.
So the live work, the Trent did all the negotiating as far as the live work concept goes. Those don't work for commercial.
So we have a current project, sorry.
Go ahead.
We have a current project that we kind of did a test run on, and none of them are filling for the commercial. There's a high demand for the residential, so we've seen the.
They are gonna
residents
work.
fill. The resident have workshop.
Buy them and not use them.
Yeah, big line was residential.
My concern here is. We did have a public hearing. On 185 units. You had 3 attend. You had everybody vote for approval right up front last November.
There was no vote.
There's no vote.
We just held a
Well, you
public-
didn't vote, but I heard your comments. Was there any negative? No,
I wasn't there, but I
You
read the
wasn't.
notes and
and they moved forward with that. Into February. As a positive note, which cost money. And then got ghosted till May. And then all this has changed, so. What I've done, I worked closely with them because I wasn't even gonna waste my time. But right up front, when we had that public hearing. It was 105. 85 units. We're sitting down here at 130 units. Trimming quite a bit of hair. There was no public comment problem on the public side of people in Harrisville. And there wasn't large amounts of concerns in your discussion that you had afterwards. So me as a landowner sits back here and I take haircuts, But I also thought that you was interested in working with the state's Affordable Housing Act. Which this is telling me on.
Single family homes are what the governor's recommendation is for the housing plan.
438,000 or something.
Single
Yeah, that's
family
what
homes.
it is.
Yeah, but they're
Overall,
detached.
on the projects, and very few homes can be built for that. There is styles out there to do that. But you've gotta have a perfect property, perfect style. Or they what? The general Ruth growing up, going to full-heartedly. Some are, some aren't. They're pretty cheap houses. You're really restricted. You are in there. When we do our cottages, you know what I mean? I think this looks good with the cottages, but so you're throwing the state right out of the park.
So I disagree with that, but the process of.
Well, I talked to Steve. So I know you did. And he's aware of it.
Well, I'm sure, and I'm sure you did have a conversation with Steve. But the process for mixed use development is a negotiation, it's a legislative action that the council takes.
Right.
So we hold a public hearing because it's required by law. And then the mayor sets up that committee and the density is negotiated. And that's what Sarah was speaking to, that in all the conversations that we had early on with the proposed development was asking for reduced density on that project.
Right. Now you realize on this land here that we're looking at right here. We have to do cost figures 2 years down the road. It's gonna take us a year to get everything in place. It's gonna be 2 years before that happens. And the houses and everything are all gonna increase, all the materials, all the infrastructure of the cities and that are gonna
increase if you have me put my name that I will meet it, I probably can.
So,
This plan won't make it.
so as, you know, the city, we don't build. Obviously,
No, I know that.
we set the regulations and with, community input and elected officials. And so we have to go by what the elected officials, what they say. And so that's why we wanted to make sure that this plan, now obviously you could bring this plan as is and run it through the system and see what city council says. You have that right. The negotiation, we try to help the developer understand what the expectation the of the city council will be, so that they're not wasting their time. And unfortunately, in the negotiations, I personally felt that the Helen Group was coming with an agenda and they weren't negotiating necessarily, because our suggestions were not being implemented. And so I guess that's just kind of where we are. It is what it is. We do have an ordinance that says 51% needs to be commercial. That's not being met. We need a certain amount of open space. That is not being met. The patio homes, we expressed them that because of the driveways being so close together with how narrow these lots were. We asked them to increase that. That never happened. There is no street parking really available for this right here. And because of setbacks and such, they're just, it looks pretty on paper, but we've set standards to make sure it's in actuality, and we just didn't feel that this was worth recommending. And like I said, we are just trying to help figure out what will be viable to the city council, and we're trying to help find something that the city council will like. But if it is a negotiation and there is going to be a lot of give and take, and just because the developer expectation is 185 or 130 units, that doesn't mean that the compromise is that high. It really depends on the expectations of the city.
So Sarah, with the committee meeting that I did go to, I mean, we did reduce the density because these were townhomes. And I don't remember the gentleman saying it's on the committee with us, it's from the city council.
Yeah.
But he's the one that said put the patio homes.
Yes, but at the same time, those additional patio
Yeah,
homes
we
were
added
added in the
those
open
two.
space, yes. And,
But 2 units is a far cry from half. of
Yes,
38.
but at the same time, we asked that all the street frontage be at least 50 feet. They're still sitting at 40 feet. And in general, we said, at the meeting that there needed to be less townhomes and less homes in general. So I just don't.
But I didn't hear that part. Like, I felt like when we left that meeting,
Uh-huh.
if we made these changes, that you guys would be happy with it. That's how I felt.
Okay,
So that's just my perception of what we did.
but did you hear about the reducing the width on the, increasing the width on those
Patio homes.
patio homes?
Yeah, but we talked about that at the meeting and Phil talked about how wide they had to be to fit his houses, and we were gonna do driveways like together every other lot, so there would be green space in between.
I know he discussed that,
Yeah.
but that was not, I think there was also a discussion of we still were not happy with that layout. That's the impression I got from, Angie and Steve.
Were you here with for the committee meeting? Were you sitting here with us?
And that's,
I
and
mean, I honestly felt like it was a positive meeting. And I felt like if we took out townhomes and had those patio homes, yeah, they had us at 2 here. But 2's a far cry.
well, it reduces the amount of open space
Right,
that's
but I
required.
mean, we could take out
And-
2 units.
And I felt it was a positive meeting too, and so that's when I got,
Yeah,
I
when
thought
we
the
got
message
email
was.
and those guys went, boom, we're out.
And at the same time, when we got this plan, we were like, what happened at that meeting? This is not what we discussed. So that's why I had them write an email and said, please be clear on what you want, because what they're proposing doesn't seem to show that they're understanding what you truly want.
Okay, but going to front 50-foot frontages versus losing 70 to 50% of the density that's like huge. And then also this property is so narrow. That we had to negotiate with Matt to reduce the street section. Right, and so we did that, but these are so narrow, you're not gonna get any type of,
And
like, if you go to half, 50% density loss. You're gonna have lots that are 150 feet wide and 100 feet deep, which is not a good lot.
And so possibly there needs to be one row of homes rather than 2 rows of homes right there to
And that's
make that more
double loaded
viable.
frontage is very expensive.
It is, and I know there are constraints with the property, but we still have to meet a standard that is viable for the community, and we were just looking at this saying we're making a lot of exceptions. And just not working for the community. I guess you know what the community would like. And I just don't know. I don't know that we can meet your expectation, and I don't know that you can meet ours, but
So you'd rather the property just sit there vacant?
I think
Well,
the city
Mexico
needs
both
to have
work
their.
So that's what its current use is, right? It's agricultural property. So, we don't make zoning changes.
Well, I'll tell
we
you
address
what,
it
I'm
property
into, you blocked my property since 1980.
I'm
In
sorry.
the commercial, now
That's
you
not
changed
mine.
it over to ed. I met with several commercial people. And they've got it, and I've got backings from all of them, one of them being the called Maverick Store. What they look like for rooftop. But when you put CP2 on a piece of land and 52% of that land, 51%, excuse me, of that land to be commercial, you have got to have things in place so that that can happen.
Agreed.
And you're not even close.
We agree.
Not on this single property.
Okay, so I'm going on 38 years. And you've done nothing.
But that's not the city's job. Our job is to come.
Then
in
why
with
is it
regulations.
CP2?
That's the future land use that the city council decided that.
Yes,
it would
I
be.
understand that. There
And
is
there's no
consequences
residential
for
in the,
that.
there's no residential allowed in the
Okay,
city.
and I'm not gonna argue that. I thought the Holland group was a good group. I like this plan. I'm sorry, they told me it's a 9 out of a 10 meeting. So I must be misrepresented. But I have met with several state people. You will be answering them to them. They did meet with UDOT. We have no
Yes.
problems with that accident.
Agreed, I was on that.
We
meeting.
just have to do some more studies to clarify. Pleasant View, that's an extra wide road on 2550. There's no problems on that. We had not given them this current plan yet.
Sure.
They have done discussions with them. We have done our homework on it.
So-
And we're all ready to get it tied down to a site that we could live with and be able to do before we just buttoned everything up. Cause we've got a few studies to do still,
One of
but
them,
there's no sense doing them unless you can get a site plan that people are gonna find.
agreed.
The meetings have been done. The drawings are drawn that way because that's what the state said. You can go straight across the street there. So there's nothing there that cannot be. We are at minimal use to Harrisville roads.
No, that.
We
that's
are-
not True, and I'm gonna kind of interrupt here because one of the requirements for the mixed use is a traffic study. And I was very clear to the Holland group on what that requirement is because there's an intersection there on the highway that you're very familiar with that doesn't allow any left-hand turns onto the highway.
Well, that's.
So all of the it's not a ghost road. There's an elementary school and there's a buildup of all the commercial development in Pleasant View along that corridor. And so all of the traffic pattern for every home here in this community And anything coming south to 2550 comes down 750 west, which is an unimproved road in Harrisville. So if you go back and listen to the public hearing comments
I
on the
did hear
project,
that. Let
They
me
are-
address
they're
that.
really concerned about that traffic pattern.
Pleasant View City, North Ogden City is finding it easier to get off of 2700, come west and use 750. My property would use 750 west down to light Highway 89.
Yep.
Unless they went out on the highway, or
And that's.
down to 500 west and to 2700 and down to the freeway.
Right.
So 750 is the only one impacted. But you've got two cities using that for a highway now.
That's our issue. And so when
And
we,
that's not me.
when we talk about density, but it kind of is, because your development impacts that increased traffic on 750.
Right.
That was one of the main concerns that
Yes.
came out of that public
And
hearing.
we will do that study. If
We can't do a
if we
study
get-
until we know what the density is.
Right,
So you have your.
and that's when
So
those,
we have a concept.
and that's when,
Right.
that's kind of where we left off, right?
Cause the state sees it as a very thin for transportation. For something like this.
Well, we're.
HOAs keeping them to the minimum. Is a big concern in a project like this. Because we wanna be $39 a month. We don't wanna be 160. On HOAs, or you're blowing the state
Fort building, right?
right out of the ballpark, right? You're just falsifying information. And so that's why it lasts, you know, there is some good acreage there. I'd spend $2 billion tomorrow. If you could tell me I would feel them different than Howard and Lloyd did down the road from me. All I'm gonna get is contractors that need storage space and different things back in them buildings on my property. There is no other use there. And that is not gonna help the city with retail money. I've got going down the back of my lot, a 250-foot building, 60 feet deep. I just don't think I'd have anybody but contractors in there. I don't think I would have one large group that would send you money off sales tax. Because they're in my door all the time. I rent several times. I talk to people. I ask Howard, I ask Lloyd, I know them all. What's been the uses?
So what's your goal here out of this meeting? Are you moving forward with this plan? Is that
Well,
the next step
If
that you're
this
asking?
is rejected,
Well, we're just saying that we don't feel like that's our recommendation, but we're not the ones that make the decision. The city council is.
well,
So-
they said 50% less for all the table. So now we got, I guess we like attorneys and everything. That's.
So then this
that's the
conversation's
only-
over if you wanna, we don't.
Well, I don't
continue
know
it.
any other way. I probably won't go that way. I'll probably go with the state. I'm
Right.
working with them more so than I am any other direction.
Very good.
So something I told the Holland Group a lot as far as setting expectations is right now. You have commercial land and an agricultural parcel. So, and I believe the agricultural parcel is what, 5 point something acres? So you have the entitled right to build 5 homes. That's the entitled right to this property. That's the expectation that has been given to all the existing landowners around you. And so we're working from a space where we are trying to help all landowners involved. We do realize that 5 homes is not the most viable option. That would be best for the existing landowners because that's the expectation of the property, but we're talking about a rezone here. which is different, that changes the playing field. So to jump from 5 entitled properties, and then I just get the feeling that you feel you have 130 entitled properties. That's a leap, and so we're trying to find something viable for the state, something viable for you. But where we're going from agricultural to this dense property, and it's a big ask for everyone involved, and I think that's why the city council
It
is
is,
feeling
but you
so
started
much
this
pressure there.
with E.K. Bailey. Then you let it go on at the end of 750 West. A lot more density than this.
I'm not familiar with those properties, but the city is learning from their mistakes. And I think that might be why the pushback is so hard, is that as we've tried to increase the density, and these are not by right, these have all been, trying to,
Master development agreements.
yeah, all master development agreements. So none of them they were just developing the way they had a right to. And so, yeah, does the city get some things wrong in the process? Absolutely. It's really difficult to find that balance. But the feedback we're getting is that we need to find a better balance for particular properties. And this one, where it is so close to existing agricultural or very large parcels, that's the pushback that the city's getting. So,
And when you're comparing some of these other projects that the city's negotiated, the
Yeah.
one that you referenced, they donated 9 acres of open space to the city for a park. So
Yeah,
they
they
got
are.
a higher density because they
That,
have.
that,
a
that's a
9 acre park.
wetlands area they could build on.
So that's what but that's kind of
They're,
where,
they're Remy and
The
wetland.
wetland's a couple acres on it.
Yeah, it is.
so
It's
if you
not-
have 9 extra acres to donate, this was looked.
Right.
so the density got higher in those projects where the density
And the
was flat.
city isn't gonna take over that part.
Yes, the city is, it's donated to the city.
They are gonna have to, right? No.
No,
No,
no, yeah. Yeah, so they got an increased density because they had a lot of open space as part of their project,
Right,
is
they
where I'm going with that. So it's hard for us to compare all of these
But let's go
projects.
down to end of 750, what do they got?
Well, they have commercial pad, they have commercial properties, and that's where we tried to live here, work here, and as you
And
can
that's
see,
okay, if I think
it's not been
you're
received
with
well.
any education in the city. If you want retail money. You've gotta get density.
and the
I've been
density,
here since 84. I see who knocks on my door. I begged her to buy from me. They went to Far West. You're asking for something. If you ask Maverick, that is impossible. For them to keep their door open.
From your project alone, I hear you,
No, for my location,
right, your project,
Yes.
your location,
my location.
but we
because
look at the whole.
I've got
state, right?
railroad tracks down, I've got 2750 there. Where is all this gonna come to support these businesses to make money?
Probably not tomorrow, it's probably not gonna happen tomorrow,
and
but we're talking about your project here.
Yeah.
And our question to you is, what would you like to come out of this meeting?
I thought this was I thought that's a good concept.
So am I hearing that you wanna move forward with this project?
So I would, if this is acceptable,
But that we're giving you feedback and I'm hearing that you don't love our feedback, so we can't recommend that this density is gonna be approved.
Density's too high.
so how many do they wanna raise?
Well, I'm wondering, like, I'm hearing that live work doesn't work, so to get 51%, do you want like flex space? 'Cause that's really the only thing that's gonna work there.
We talked about that with the Holland Group and admittedly, we didn't have a great solution for that. We did ask for some of that commercial to be pulled back from Highway 89, recognizing that that's where the frontage is.
Yes.
And what that looks like. But yeah, we don't have a successful live here, work here project to say, yeah, we know this is gonna work.
But would you be happy with flex space? Cause it's not gonna be like
Retail,
a multi-use
Right.
tenant or.
Right.
It's just, And across the street is storage sheds
Right.
and a giant sunroom.
That's a city council question, right?
And how many
But
of
would
It's not
you
my
guys,
preference,
but would
no.
you guys support
Flex
flex
space,
space?
so we've got a,
Cause we could get 51%.
By putting the flex space on it.
Yeah,
yeah, and I acknowledge that we have concern. We do have another flex space project right next to you. On the corner of 2550 and 750.
but if you build a whole bunch of vanilla shells, they're gonna sit there.
Possibly.
Right.
We haven't had it built yet. We have-
Right,
Yeah, we have some projects that haven't even been built yet.
but I mean, those, by the rush complex, all those retails, they're having a really hard time.
Building them, yeah.
Well, people don't support it.
Yeah, that's what, we don't know.
Yeah.
Is the timing right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Is our density overall in our city? I mean, we have had these conversations with
Yeah.
the other projects as well. A lot of them are waiting for Ben Loma to get their density. And that's not a really dense project. It's six units per acre for the overall, yeah, for the.
Which is the state's goal, is that 6 units per acre.
What's that?
That will help
Right.
our
Absolutely.
retail
Absolutely.
situation.
So we have people that are kind of waiting to see that project through.
So that is the comparison, something we looked at, 6
So,
units per acre. is
Can
not
we
the
do
goal.
flex space here? And move forward with it?
If we did the 50-foot frontage with that,
That would help significantly.
cause I think we're like. 45, something like that.
I thought it was right, if it did they.
Well, I don't, one of the older,
It's been a minute for my brain.
you're good,
So this ended up, if I remember right, it was 14 plus units per acre.
There they are for you.
And so that was a concern when our
Well,
goal
if
is 6 units
if
per
we
acre.
blow up all that, your density is gonna drop. Right?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
if we put flex space units on 2550 and back them on 2550, then your density is gonna blow up. So if we did that, and made it 51%, and then did these 50 feet wide.
Yeah.
Is that going in the right direction?
Definitely. We still really want to look at making sure that street process, it might need to be slightly. We are looking at 50 feet
We-
with that depth.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took out,
Justify-
we took out the park strip.
took out the park shirt, we've got 32 feet of asphalt.
So if we did that, we would need to have like parking nooks here and there, some sort of extra parking. Say, because we wouldn't have a place for residents to park on their own property, so I'm afraid the street would line up.
So if we did the 2-car garage, the driveway was. Work.
As long as the driveway is set back.
Yeah,
If it's set back enough
so it'd be a 2-car garage and 2-car garage.
with the 20-foot track.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the front setback? Was it 25? Was it 20?
You can do 20 in
I think it
R10.
was 20, but, I mean, we could jog garage back.
Yes,
But we can
yes.
get 20 in front, and so you
Okay.
have two-car driveway on each home, and then the thought process was
Every
to
other.
offset every other.
Then you have enough.
green space in each thing.
Okay, okay, yes. And 50 feet, we should be able to get enough parking. The street is pretty narrow for
Yeah.
parking on both sides.
It's narrow because of the, I mean, really, this is.
And we do have sidewalk on both sides of the street.
Yes.
Correct, okay, so we
It's
will
sidewalks.
need that. And we can avoid an HOA. For that.
Yeah, we did a 6-foot walk on both sides.
Yeah.
And then 32 feet around. With the 2-foot curve almost.
The roll curve.
Yeah.
This is Matt's department now.
I don't remember the 2 foot. I know. I've seen the five foot. Yeah, I've got it.
You got it, okay. So total is 41 feet from back to curb to back.
Or, well, no, you're 36. From back curb to back curb.
Yeah, it's 20 and a half feet on both sides.
When you got that wrong, it's 18. Yeah, you got that dimension wrong, so you're 16 and 2. We don't have any, we just double. I mean.
Yeah.
We can talk with Public Works to look into that. We don't have any 2-foot curb that's city owns a 2-foot curb. We usually see, you know, in the private developments.
And we
if
want
we
it
could-
street B to B, or street A and street B public streets.
Yes, they need to be.
Yeah.
Street A is the standard cross section, just street. B.
So this is just street
Is
B.
where we
We
do
took
it.
the park strip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could show maybe that the spread from the storm drain stays in the roadway, with that, that may be okay. But. I'll just, I'm looking at that. Is this, sorry, for my own, and this is maybe going back, this has to be mixed use commercial because of the underlying commercial zone.
Yeah,
The only way to go mixed use residential would be is if it's all residential.
or if it was only,
It was what?
Of the original zone on the land use map with residential.
which they do have the agricultural part, so it has to mix too, so you'd have to break it,
Yeah.
but that is residential, so it can go either way. If it's combined with the commercial for future land use and those existing land use.
So
Well, actually, but the future land use shows that whole area as commercial.
makes
Yes,
sense.
the existing is residential.
Is that?
This portion, which would be residential.
Yeah.
But then this is commercial.
Yes.
I was, sorry, just for my own. Trying to remember, because mixed use residential doesn't have the same 51%.
Right. But because this entire section of the city is
Is a
on
future
future
land
land
use.
use, that's
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, then it only. falls through that.
So.
So I
Did we
think
get-
probably
did
what
we
we'll
get your
do is
question?
just put together a concept with flex space. With the
Extending
51%,
51%.
and then we'll just.
And you wanted these 50,
Yeah, we'll make
50-foot
it.
frontage, yeah.
Sorry, how many of those units, we're gonna be live here, work here to try to be 100%? I can't remember.
I believe it was,
The first two.
I think it was those, yeah, I believe it was the first 2 ones. So those will just, we'll slide the road down. And we'll, this will be our road.
Whatever meets the
The back.
51%.
Yeah,
I just
rounds 25, they'll back. Right, I mean, you wouldn't want driveways pulling off the 25-50, would you?
No, yeah.
so
Unless you
I
have like,
gotta allow that.
unless you had like one and then they kind of had like a cross access easier between them, you could maybe.
I mean, it'd be more attractive to have it back. Right, I mean, aesthetically, it would look better.
Yeah.
Especially with down storage is frustrating. So,
Yeah, different city.
yeah, so.
So you would support that.
If we're keeping.
We go 50
51%,
feet,
and then 50.
we change this to flat.
And then we keep just patio homes, no townhomes.
No, they still have.
Couple of towns.
We might have a strip in the middle.
Which is fine because it could be a buffer.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. I'm just concerned because that many townhomes is when it wants, HOA to be concerned when we have that many. Because we wouldn't really be able to divide them apart and be able to pay for the townhomes, and so my preference would be to do it all patio homes, and we can avoid, and then you don't have to have any open space, like your whole open space goes away.
But couldn't we do, but couldn't we do,
We don't want HOA.
Well,
couldn't we do those patio homes in an HOA?
they could be in the HOA to help for the place of the open space, right?
I guess if you put them all in, just worrying about the affordability, it's nice if they're all separated, but
Why don't you calculate? what
Would the
that-
city take these streets? Deb?
yeah. If we can.
Street
make
A
them-
and Street B.
Yeah.
Street A and Street B, yeah.
These would be private, but we're gonna reduce that. There.
So if it's possible, look at the options, if they're entirely patio homes and they all have their own little bit of yard, then we don't need to provide an open space and we can avoid the HOA and keep the streets public. But if you need to look into the HOA,
Then we can build back in here with patio.
Yeah, we could fill the whole thing.
Yeah, we could fill it.
If that's the direction you.
I mean, that seems like.
That's what you want.
Well, you have
You
two
would
options,
like-
you have two options there,
You
right?
would like to
We
see.
don't love HOAs because,
Well, I don't like them because they cost money and, you know, I think the kids do need to playground and something, but we can't furnish that. We get to.
but we're less worried about a playground if people have backyards.
Right,
You know,
Yeah,
townhomes
they're
don't
here.
afford for
They're
backyards, right?
they're here at their house.
Exactly.
And then we'll look at street B, and Matt will talk with utilities, see if that's viable. I mean, if we do need to widen the street a little bit, and then we widen the frontage a little bit.
The asphalt width is good, like the 32 feet. and we're good with
Asphalt,
that.
okay.
I guess the only question, Chris, will be if we're okay with that 2 foot and talking. a little bit.
There's only, there has to, there might be size.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
So is your preference to come back to this meeting with that concept plan? Okay,
I think that's the best step, right?
Right.
well, we have the committee set up, so. But if you prefer to come to this meeting, that's fine. We'll have you on the project management overview.
Or
Then it's on
Or I
record.
can email you guys this and then we can go to the committee.
That's probably.
That's true.
if we need to make any changes
That's what I do.
or anything on that, so
Just
we've
to
got
say
to have
a
what
little
we
bit.
do with
That
and
sounds-
taking this out. I don't like HOA costs, but we'll have a little
You
maybe.
could do that calculation and find out what
But,
that.
but that would be minimal. We're cutting most of it out. So it'd be very minimal.
I think, I personally feel that would appeal to the council, so. I think that would appeal to the council, we keep it commercial, and we're doing lots of patio homes, I think that would meet expectations, so I mean. Yeah, it's hard to.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So we are concerned with,
What's that?
we are concerned with this meeting that they.
Detached single family home. Detached single family homes, yes.
Right.
Patio homes, yes.
That's the intention.
Starter need to add that.
Yeah,
And there's a report on the city's website, every city has to do it, where they actually say what their plan is. For the moderate income housing, moderate to low, I don't know the exact lingo, but it's all, every city has to do it. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend getting on the Harrisville's website and seeing that report.
Yeah, I've seen it. I guess I just tried to jump to them.
Yeah.
And they understand cities are falling up right now that
I would, here's the problem, I mean, I don't wanna get too into the weeds on this, but the problem is the state doesn't know what to do yet. There's tons of discussion, but no one has a direction.
nobody's,
So
everything's in, you're right.
that's,
You get that right on the head.
I'm.
They know they got a problem, but nobody's figured out how to remedy it.
A lot of.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, next on our agenda is parcel off of North Harrisville Road, Silverado Development. If you'd like to join us at the table, we'll find the area of the city. Please let us know your names.
Jonathan Betts.
I'm sorry,
Jonathan Betts.
Jonathan?
Rich, yeah. We have a little handout, when they talk about possibilities with the property.
Do you have a, I know you've got the parcel number listed, which of these is it? 007.
Yeah, more to the south.
Down one?
Right,
This,
190, and technically for the back part of 431. We would be buying the back acre of
this one as well?
that piece,
And
and
this.
431, we buy the back acre.
so 431 in its entirety, and then the back acre of 190.
431, the back acre,
Oh, okay.
down to the fence by the 7-Eleven.
Oh, I see, you got it kind of like this.
Yes, and then all of 190.
Oh, all of 190, okay. And that's where we're looking. and
Yeah,
there.
that's our proposal and a preliminary, I mean, what we're looking for is the CP2 zone. This is just an idea of how we can visualize, like, if it's something, these are all commercial units. we've built these buildings elsewhere with success. And that's what we're looking to, accomplish is a rezone for that, so.
Whatever, these ones have never been rezoned,
All out
but then, but,
everything else around it.
right.
I think your future land use map shows,
Yeah, it's all for sure.
not asking for anything special within the zone, just if we're able to get the zone. I do have some questions, however. The current owners of on 190 claim all the utilities are in the street, North Street. Are those Ogden City utilities? Does Harrisville have any utilities?
Those would be Ogden City, everything
Is
on
there
their
any
street.
kind of agreement? Cause he says that all those houses are connected to that.
Oh, the houses, yeah. Well, from what I understand, those aren't all connected to. And Bonita Vista maybe has a line down there.
We do not have one.
You don't.
We have a 6-inch line right there on Harrisville Road.
Right?
But you guys don't go in between. I think Ogden City does. I mean, they just redid that road for.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
seeing
correct.
the plan.
It's Ogden City.
Yeah. But I think all of those few homes right there. I think they all are connected to Ogden City utilities.
That's what I.
As far as water.
Yeah, that's what we're understanding. We have calls anyway, we need to hear back. The homeowner 417 is in discussion with us, but 405 actually just signed a lease for that building. You guys have probably seen or heard of that. We're trying to eventually end up with this, where this would loop out and back, and it would flow through there nicely.
Through 190.
Yeah, so well,
Or no.
we're hoping to get be able, the owner at 150 is interested, 134 basically closed the door on us, kind of like the missionaries gives.
Yeah, did you say 417?
Yes,
Cause I'm a little cautious to do flex space on 417. There's a signalized light right there. If 405 ever went, I wouldn't necessarily be a fan of having flex space on.
yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, we're not that interested currently because they want more. Without a lot of return. So
I mean, just to be clear, I'm interested in the development of it, but just not the flex space. I think that.
And I think a lot of these, especially these, they have a flex look to them. But there's not gonna be rear entries into these are fully flex. Do
they have a garage door?
some can,
What do you
we put
envision
parking in
building?
front of it. Currently, we've probably started in phases and start here and see what we can get filled up in here. Whether it's professional space, if it's a contractor, if it's
Dance studios,
dance studios, you bet.
that seems to be a good bit of flex space. Dance
And the amazing part is those dance studios make so much money. Crazy.
So you'd be.
We just.
You put a stop, because you're not even including this front.
No, Antonio, you won't say 100 grand for the house on top of the back property. So we're not interested in buying that right now.
So how would that work with, subdivision? Cause you'd have to subdivide.
You'd have to, right, cause 431 is one parcel, you'd have to, so you're talking about splitting that off then?
Well, what the agreement with him currently stands at is he is willing to do a full acre. That's why it angles kind of
Right.
in my mind awkwardly, because he doesn't want to give up any more than anything.
So that leave him with about a half acre.
It's a full half acre. It's like,
You know,
I wanna say it's-
1.56.
yes, slightly over a half.
1.56 total, like. So you'd be doing a subdivision then, because you'd be creating.
You'd have to do a subdivision to create that.
Right.
So I'd have to go through the subdivision approval process,
Yeah.
Okay.
But
probably before the rezon. If they're leaving this residential.
yeah, you could probably kind of run it concurrently, I would think. You do. Well, at least for you could probably do like rezone and preliminary plat, maybe.
We're gonna have an issue with this, with meeting frontage requirements. once that's subdivided.
No, unless you combine 431 and 19, the acre 431 and 190 are one lot.
Yeah, they're going to one.
Then you get your frontage off of North Street. I wonder if you could almost, I don't know,
Lot line adjustments where you're going. huh?
yeah. Cause you're
I
still
thought
gonna,
about that too.
you're still gonna be left with 2 parcels.
I mean, you might wanna contact a land use attorney and
Yeah.
see what the
surveyor,
best,
6.
yeah, or surveyor, see what the best option is, where you do already have 2 parcels. But before we could authorize a rezone, you have to
Yeah.
have that defined. A legal description of this portion that you're gonna rezone.
And I do have that ready, cause, to the sellers, we had to map it out and describe it, so. That's already been prepared, so that won't be an issue.
But you'll have to as part of this,
Correct.
however, you're gonna either go through the subdivision process or combine it with 190's legal description.
Yeah, our goal would be to combine them into one.
I don't have a great answer for that.
Yeah, I just like, yeah. Maybe either your line use attorney or surveyor, sorry, to see which. We could do boundary line adjustment, re-describe that, or,
Mention this subdivision, correct?
oh, that's a good question.
That one's not. It probably, I mean, my guess is they're not. No. Okay, just wanted to double check. Sometimes we run into.
Yeah, Sandy there. Okay,
And then we'd get into site plan. This is just a concept plan for the rezone. And then you get into a site plan for when you're gonna build.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the unit mix could change too based on. We just mapped out. 40 feet, we've been 30 foot wide for now. But that probably will reduce the number of units in there, because we'll probably build some bigger. Any concerns with that? Rezone at least from that standpoint?
I don't see any issues with the rezone. I mean, when we get to site plan, we'll have to
Yeah.
check, we'll have to check, you know, that all the site plan requirements are met.
Yeah, just,
But
yeah, so like garage doors in front, and the parking.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to look at landscape.
Yeah, if we do garage
Landscape
doors.
requirements. Also the parking requirements.
And then
Yeah.
Lynn Canal runs in front of us, we've met with them out there on the site and discussed ways to. They have a clean out right here.
We're gonna try to pump
Well,
it out, but
Do you have water?
we have shares on the bridge. We'll have to get that engineered to figure out how. best-
Yes. I mean, you guys don't have anything there. Oh, no, you're not even, these stop, yeah, you're stopping over at Larsen. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much
that's
acreage are we looking
It
at?
was 10 years, and we might be there.
Yeah.
What's the total acreage of what's proposed?
I don't remember what 190 is, can you tell me?
It's 1 acre plus.
1.66.
Okay, so it's a big. Okay.
The goal is to keep it advancing north, but who knows, right? Just depends on land use properties.
Well, let's start there.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's
Do
doable.
you wanna figure out how you wanna go about that subdivision process or lot line adjustment?
I actually have a survey done where what's this all into one parcel,
Perfect.
so.
And then we can move, the next step would be the rezone.
Alright. We just wanted to see what kind of objection. I got a reason that would come up.
There'll be some when you get to site plan.
Understood. Fortunately, got a lot of scars from this.
We'll turn those back in.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yep, thanks.
Thanks. Hey, a little faster than.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, Oak Hollow.
You ready to redesign your whole thing?
Well, I think that you should ask Matt, because this came in late last night to my email box that I left.
Well, we hadn't seen you guys in such a long time. We figured we'd come back to
Okay.
say hello.
Hello. So
So,
what you got here?
so the first thing that we want to do before we jump to this is, we just wanted, clarification on setbacks on,
Yes.
on Oak Hollow. I know we talked about that in one of the meetings. I tried to find it in my notes. I talked to Cynthia. She didn't have it, and so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, is just building setbacks. Obviously, they're smaller lots, so
Yeah,
just
so
need some determination.
It didn't end up in the MPA.
it didn't end up in the
No, it's not
MDA
an
because
FDA.
so
The
when
concept
we
of
went
that.
through that process, we were kind of basing it off the cluster development ordinance, which shows the buildable area footprint on your plat.
Right.
So on your first plat, Matt and I we went back a little bit, your first plat had that defined, and we actually measured them out at 10 feet. That side setbacks,
10 feet on each side.
from your original plan,
Okay.
and then it got removed from your subsequent plats.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why the engineer,
Okay, we weren't either.
yeah, I'm not sure why that happened, because that's what I.
We obviously missed it too.
Yeah, when we got these questions, I pulled up the engineering, and I'm like, huh, that's not on there.
So it depends, so I was going to address that until I saw your new camp concept, because I don't wanna jump too far ahead, but increased density will trigger a new public hearing
Understand.
and recommendation, so if we're gonna go that route, we'll just put setbacks in the end.
Yeah, and I
If
think
you're
that,
not gonna go that route and you're sticking with the original concept plan, we'll need to back off the.
yeah, and we don't know if we're moving forward with this. We just need to know, we've got some questions from some of our builders,
Sure.
you know, what the setbacks are. So
Well,
we,
and even to go further. He had an agreement with a builder, if you're familiar with that
You're
builder,
talking about.
and. Based upon total cost, which includes a lot of the offsite stuff and all the conversations we've had with. With Pine View and 4 Mile and all of that, either way we go, there's gonna be a lot of expense in building that out before we even get to. You know, this little 7 acres or whatever it is, so.
Yeah, I mean,
That's on hold with that builder, and we've had conversations with others, and. We're just trying to figure out now, how do we get to the point to where the builders can afford. Because this land has been much more expensive for us than over on Summit, for example. And we still wanna make it happen, but we also wanna make it so that it's affordable for the builders. And right now, I would just say we're leaning toward probably moving forward, even if we end up taking a hit financially with what's already been approved, if we can get the setbacks where
So
it
those
works for that. That's where we're leaning, but then this idea was brought to us, and we thought, well, might as well at least have the conversation before we move forward with either that builder or another.
yeah, I mean, the bottom line is here that because of the offsite improvements on this development, it's just become pretty costly. There were, I mean, our original intent, as you know, was to connect to 4 Mile Service District over in Warren Hollow. And after working with you guys for, you know, close to 2 years on this project, Western Irrigation said, well, you gotta do some improvements, and none of us were aware of that. And when I met,
At the canal.
yeah, and they wanted.
You guys may not have been aware of that.
And they wanted us to put a new head wall, a new head gate, upsize pipe. And I asked our engineer on site, I said, how much is this gonna cost? And he said, well, at least 40, 50 grand to do this work.
And, you know, so, and we had no idea. You know, I don't know why that didn't come out at an earlier meeting. And then when we were, you know, we were told Pineview Water was available, obviously that was, you know, good news for us. But then with the added requirement of still connecting to Warren Hollow.
And Larsen Lane.
Yeah, and Larsen Lane. That's just you know, it's a lot of expense. And so for 30 units, trying to distribute those costs among 30 units is pretty challenging. And so we're just struggling trying to make the numbers work. And so that's why we started looking at this. So.
Which is interesting because with Kirby's and Breckville's being here
Yes.
Yeah.
today and having that conversation, even that, we're thinking if we are gonna go back through public hearings and all of that and extend this project, then we ought to, because we've met them, we've had conversations, we had land under a contract and we couldn't figure out how to make that work financially, and so we came back to here, so we will have conversations with them to see.
Yeah, so I guess that's where our answer will lie. If you want to move forward with the already approved concept, we need the setback. We need that buildable area redefined on your plat.
Yes.
I don't have that one pulled up, but the original one showed, and through the measurements, we were able to determine they were 10-foot side setbacks and 20 front.
So 20 foot up front, 10 foot on the sides and 1 on the
10
rear.
foot on the rear.
How does that work for the builders that we've been?
I'll have to look at that. It's possible we could make that work. So that's good information. What obviously the goal here is to, if we are able to increase density at all, that obviously defrays expenses and helps justify the added expense. And so we just wanted to kind of check with you guys, planning staff, and see, is this even a possibility? Now, I have to just throw this out there because these guys were here. We have had discussions internally about going back to these guys and saying, hey, you know, what if we pick up some back part of your land, you know, and incorporate that into the development. Obviously, the challenge on that, and we talked to you guys about this long ago, is when we had it under contract, is at some point you're gonna have a second point of egress.
Yeah.
And so we don't know, you know, where that is. So
I would love, like, and I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of.
No, I think you're
Get crazy
exactly
here.
what I wanna
Okay,
say.
well, if this, I mean, cause if we could get this road looped in and connected and lined up with that
was our
800
original
north.
intent.
But then I'm thinking, then you have, and then maybe you could keep these patio homes here, but you could maybe transition to higher density by the time you get to here to help with that cost. Is what I'm thinking, right? Like, you could maybe move into, you know, some higher density stuff here, and then you're to the commercial up higher.
Yeah.
So then you're going commercial, multifamily, single family.
I see two options here. Can you bring up the GeoGizmo? Sure. Let me kind of show you
So
what
that's interesting, Matt.
So.
You said exactly what I was gonna say, Matt.
Oh, good.
So I think there's two options here. We can obviously, let me get my orientation here. Okay, so we can either extend our road through and come up to Washington, and our original intent when we were under contract with Breckville's was to just create an intersection here. And then we would do commercial on the front end. We were gonna do multifamily on the middle. We were gonna do single family on the back end, which makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
So that's one option. The other option is to just subdivide these properties, make the front part all commercial. And then we could either have an intersection here if that goes well with UDOT. But we also own, as you know,
264.
yeah, we own 264.
Was the love.
Yeah, it was the love home. So we do have a potential point of access here.
Right.
To come to
You wanted to separate the housing from the commercial, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
From a planning standpoint, I'd love to see the access going to Washington Boulevard. I think we're moving in a direction, planning wise, we'd really like to see a better connection between our commercial and our residential in a way that's safe, but also we have pedestrian access, so we're not having to drive everywhere, shorter pathways when we are driving. The
Right,
more pathways, then the less congested our pathways are. So
for sure.
I would love to see it to connect so that people have, I think there's across the street, I saw some sort of a nursing home facility.
Yeah, there is over here. Is
That's
it-
further up.
Oh, it's.
Oh, is it further up?
Okay,
Yeah.
but in general, if we, then as those commercial properties develop on Washington Boulevard, if we have more walking paths to those, I think just to access them from the back.
The residential behind.
Yeah, so that we have some connection between our commercial and our residential, and they don't have to be a lot of access, and they, of course, there'll be some sort of division, but have just some sort of a pathway, yeah.
Well, and that is, I mean, that would, if we were to do anything on this front end, and work with Breck Biz and Kirby's on that. That would be our preferred option too, is to go forward. But, we offer a whole lot to Breck Biz and Kirby's too, because Pineview Water can go that direction. And go up and provide
Storm
that,
drain.
that can go, we
Storm
can
drain.
integrate that, storm drain. Cause we do have, obviously, as we've talked about, we're gonna have to come down and all the way down to 89 with the storm drain. And I don't know how the elevation falls, but I would think that storm drain could probably connect
Yeah,
through there.
I think they're only out.
So that would be, a considerable, a good option. And the other thing, quite honestly, is, it probably would open up another option for us, and that is if we wanted to do our own retention, detention basin and use that as secondary water, similar to what Warren Hollow did. If we had the added land, that would make that more feasible as well. But I think with the Pineview water connection, I don't know that we would want to do that. It's just added expense.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Just find you.
I like that. It's easier for everybody if we can
If
just
you get to start.
tie them together and serve all the way through. Yeah.
There's a question that the new plan eliminates open space and creates lots of open spaces. I'm not opposed to that. It's just kind of the NDA, this was what was offered kind of
That's right.
deal.
Yeah.
But
Amenities and all
Yeah.
that, yeah.
If there is higher density the higher density would need some open space, but this community, not as much. I know, I would be open to that, but yeah, I'm not a part of the original
That's right.
negotiation, so that's why I hesitate to.
Yeah.
Well, in this concept, the only thing we've really eliminated is the pickleball courts. Which I know the neighbors in front who made some comments at the public meeting,
They weren't fans.
they'll be really delighted if we eliminate the pickleball courts.
Somehow that noise carries, I'm not sure.
It does.
See the public park facilities and being able to easily get there, we're
Not
not very
close.
close, so that is a little bit of a concern, that there's not a pathway to.
There isn't a public park in that area.
Yeah, there's
That's
nothing
right.
close.
So,
So
The only
if-
other thought is on that parcel A, maybe some kind of a small pavilion or something like that.
Well, and we show a playground there with walking path, we'll obviously keep that kind of
Oh, okay,
open
yeah.
space, so we do have that little bit, so we maintain that.
Well,
So I guess we got a number of options here.
Yeah, yes, you do. So to kind of circle back,
Yeah,
the other discussions and adding, we're gonna have more conversation about. So setbacks can either be added to your current plan back on where they were before.
if we stick with.
If you stick with the original concept plan,
Yeah,
if you decide to add more, we're starting over anyway, we'll put them in the FDA.
Let me just ask you a question on setbacks. Would you be agreeable to, if we did a 10-foot on either side? Well, some cities will do like a 15-foot, yeah, overall. And we can move it one way or the other. Would you agree with that?
I would be.
I don't, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, our 110 is 8.
8 total?
On side. Side yard.
Oh,
No, not total, one side.
which is
So
Still tighter
minimum,
than
would you
this.
want a minimum of 8 on the side then, with maximum
Okay
of
with
15?
seven, so 15 would work.
Yeah, 15's probably.
15
15 will
probably
be
good,
okay.
is a total of 15.
Because that may end up.
You're
being
five,
A couple of
10.
the
Yeah,
dollars for
5,
talking
10.
to or
Yeah.
closer to that.
And, you know, you've heard part of our other discussion too, we don't love the driveways right by each other to kind of break up the look. You don't have as long of a road,
Right,
so you're not going to, yeah, but just be mindful of that.
yeah.
Make sure you have some street parking for visitors, hopefully not overnight trailers.
Yeah.
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 Okay, like a lot.
Interior side is.
And yours was originally in an HOA because of all of the needs, since your road, they're not public
The
streets.
roads were public streets.
The roads
Were
are
they?
public.
Those are public HOAs for the
I was
open
thinking the
space
roads
and
were
the
private, and how that would connect if we expand. Okay,
So if there is no
Not quite so
open
much.
space, there wouldn't be a requirement for an HOA. Open space is the only part keeping an HOA at this point. So,
There's open space.
Yeah, I think we probably need a minimal HOA for this. But
Wasn't it snow, the snow removal, wasn't that?
that was city,
yeah.
Oh, that was.
there's city
yeah, there's
streets.
city streets.
Our city standard.
That was the one reason we had that parking lot is Justin wanted someplace to push the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which we could still accomplish with the hammerhead that we've got there. You know, you can just push it to the end there.
Maybe
Well,
hard to get to that new lot.
Yeah,
That'd
it
be
takes
hard.
a little.
That'd be hard.
You have to be careful where that driveway is on that north
Well,
lot.
We connected the road and got rid of the
I know,
open space.
that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, if you could,
yes.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
okay, but if you could connect it and have, I mean, you could still go back to having open space back there, that would provide the open space for, you know, the multifamily, for both.
Yeah, yeah.
That
But I would
makes
love to
sense.
see that road, just make a loop
Yeah, get there.
or whatever, yeah.
Okay,
So when you say make a look, are you talking about going up?
You mean up to Washington?
Well, I'd like to go up to Washington,
Right.
but I wouldn't mind if it just went through Parcel, it just went straight
just went straight down.
down, so we don't have a hammerhead through.
Yeah,
Problem with that, I think
That's too close to
Be
the
too
other
close to
one.
the,
yeah.
It would be,
But almost double frontage on 30-29.
Yeah, it'd be tough, because it's too tight, like block lengths.
Brandon had gone through the 27 iterations. that-
Yeah.
That got us to the original one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love that little, whatever's going on there, it's not my favorite, but.
Yeah. Oh, again, this is new with those two. Well, and we got 30 and 29, which technically are on large, have access on Larsen Lane versus in the subdivision. So I think it would meet code with the 30 maximum.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
adding
interested
two
in-
new lots,
I
so
mean.
What's that?
those two new lots don't have numbers, so you're adding two more.
That would be 30
So that's what he's
total,
saying.
but
You have
32 are on large.
Oh, right, gotcha.
But I think technically we could be okay, but
Matt, I'm interested to hear from an engineering standpoint, do you see any issues with this concept?
The biggest issue is that new lot, the end of the street, Hammerhead, I don't see how that would work very well with the
Right.
driveway and snow removal.
you're gonna push all the snow up to their driveway.
Yeah, that you're gonna just block them in. That's the biggest issue I see with that.
Okay, work on that. Plus, we're back to city council approval, updating
The
the
whole,
FDI,
yeah,
the
if
whole,
you increase density, we have to do a new public hearing and
all of that.
planning commission. City council.
Okay, what else? Wait, anything? Super helpful.
No, I think, probably the only other question, if we don't make any modifications at all, I know that Matt, I sent you final engineering. Did, that incorporated your red lines, did you have any?
I've gone through most of it. There's still a couple of things that I'll just have to get with your engineer to update. There's still like that irrigation ditch that's in there. Trying to see.
Comes across that.
Yeah, it comes across like,
Like
11 between 11 and 6. think we've got, have you? Okay, it's just on the plat that it's not called out really on the plat or dedicated to anyone. And that's been one of the comments.
And I think he's showing it on this drawing even. We've got a public utility easement coming through there on the left side of 11 and 6.
Yeah. That's gonna be for the ditch users.
Yeah.
A couple minor things, and then do you know? Like if we stick with, if you don't make any changes and you stick with this, have you, I don't think we have Will Serve Bond Vista yet.
No, there was the inclusion process.
I do, that's right.
That's already done.
Yeah, I know we paid our.
Yeah, that's all.
Fees and gone to the board, so.
we just need a will serve from behind you. So.
Pretty sure I sent that to you guys, because I think
We
we
can
got a,
follow up
we got a.
Did it get approved by the board?
Okay.
Yeah, Glade actually attended the board meeting.
Right.
That's fun.
Yeah, I heard about that.
No, it was just before us.
Oh, right.
It was before I was.
I was pretty.
Yeah,
It
fire.
was a lot
So
like
we'll
that, seconds.
follow up on that.
Yeah, and then we'll just need updated if you're having.
If we're, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we add the lots, obviously we'll have to
Yeah,
revise the engineering and.
So I just wanna see, I don't know that I've seen a letter from Pine View, so the letter from Pine View, the Will Serve from Bonavista, and then. I don't, as the county, then I'm reviewing the plat, the county surveyor's office. I haven't seen.
Yes, they have.
Okay, so just send over there.
Okay.
so you need that, you need those three things. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that should be easy. All right.
Okay.
Planning a city is difficult.
But yeah, let's get it split up to Washington.
Let's do it.
Exactly. So we'll have those conversations. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, next on the agenda, I think we have Darren DeFreeze. Want to come on up for the Vasquez property? This is a walk-in.
This is land that's strong.
Sorry?
This is for land that's strong. I'm
Yes.
really good for Frank.
Yes,
And,
so we switched it to you after the conversation.
All right, let me tell you what's going on. Because I don't know further than what I've got emails this morning, because Landon's the one that's proposing, and he's got a bunch of questions that I need to ask.
Had some of them on our Ellie's application. If you want me to pull that up, I can.
Yeah. If he sent that, that'd be great.
So he just had general inquiries of a subdivision application, general questions about water availability, sewer egress, UDOT restrictions, easements, wetlands on the south side, subzone mixed use residential process, fire marshal, density, future land use, general timeline.
Yeah, so they're looking to buy this lot, they've got an off-ramp
Or
and
this, just the Vasquez piece, right?
that piece, yeah.
Oh,
And there's like 800 foot of frontage along there. Let me show you the pictures and just, he sent them to me. This is what he's looking to do. They've done it somewhere else. This is another project. That first part's commercial, the back part would be residential, which matches with your future zoning for that mixed use. That's what he's looking to do with the property. He has some concerns. The biggest one that he had with asking me was, down there at the very bottom, even into this shed. There's,
Here.
yeah, and then going out into 89, there's actually a Army Corps of Engineers, that little puddle there that they've got there.
There's
But
wetlands.
I don't know why they got it there, because that's farm, he farms that piece down below. The ditch goes at the back of this property all the way down.
You kind of see it.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's the ditch there. I think
No.
the ditch is right on. You can see the ditch right up there by the trees. I think it fall right down lower. I think that falls all the way down the line, actually.
Okay.
But,
These lines are not exact,
yeah,
just so you know. They're not exact.
but so that's what he has planned for. And what he wants to know is if they can move ahead and
Frank doesn't wanna sign anything until he has an idea that they're gonna be able, we'll be able to move ahead. So he wants to know on the water, the sewer, the storm and the power, and I think they're all there. The power's there, the storm's there, the water's there.
You have an 8-inch main right there.
Yeah, so I didn't think it would be an issue on that. Is there anything there that, I mean, I don't know about the water, he's really concerned about that little puddle. Down by
The wetlands mapper shows.
Yeah, what you may need to do is have, a wetland report done.
Yeah.
And so you'd have a wetland, consultant make a determination of whether there's any wetlands there. And then they would send that determination
So you're
to,
saying they need to go to the Army Corps of Engineering?
well, I'd start with a wetland consultant.
And they'll let you know.
I'm an environmental engineer.
Hasn't one, my question is, hasn't one been done for that? Because the Highway 89, it's going into Highway 89 to the other side. So if it's going into both sides, in order to put Highway 89 in there, wouldn't that have to be done first?
89 went in the 60s, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
So
mean,
But it was small. So
Yeah, I
it
don't-
probably wasn't existent.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes all the way into his shed and out into the road. When I looked at it,
Are you talking about wetlands or a floodplain?
Wetlands.
wetlands.
Because there's a floodplain that goes through there as well. Right?
Oh, there's a
It's on
floodplain?
over Dixon Creek.
On the new map?
The Dixon Creek. Yeah, that wasn't studied as part of the map changes. So it is getting a low mark from Summit View, so it's getting
Right.
aligned through Summit View. But yeah, I think it still shows it following the creek down to the highway. We'll blow the wetlands, but
Oh, I saw that. Whoops.
so, yeah, there you go. There you go.
So it's not affecting us, so.
No, so it's up on the north,
So it's that little section right there.
yeah.
Go back to the wetlands.
And it's the lower section. The other one's the lower one.
Like this is the map.
That's wetlands.
Okay, so the wetlands mapper shows that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a designated wetland.
Website. Sorry, you guys have to come along with me. There we go. That's what I want. Now that's the video instructions.
Keep going down.
Right there. Wait, no, that's
This one.
GIS and it's, yeah, it's showing that. Okay.
All right, well, this is not going as planned. I don't think this is the right one to play on. I emailed it to you, so you looked at it.
Yeah, matter of fact, I got
You got it?
Oh, Matt's got it on his.
And
So that's-
still looking updated, so these aren't. Like I said, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily, so it says. PEN1C, I'm no wetland expert here, but,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's showing this thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's part of his lower port.
Forestry,
It's not even going down to where the ditch is for some reason.
Yeah, I would. I would just say. Give it the consultant and have them do a wetland determination there.
Okay, but what about the one up on top?
The one up on top, if you have any, if you're proposing to change anything or want to build within that floodplain, then you'd have to go through FEMA and get a map revision done. Now, if you're not going to build within that floodplain or make any changes to it, you could just move forward
I don't know.
and stay out of it.
I don't, I mean, that's.
Yeah, there's a chunk up there.
Especially on the frontage.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you could. Buy something you want to address.
No,
I mean,
I can give you a contact for, so the property to the east, that Sunview Development, they had to do a map revision. I can get you in touch with the consultant that did that for us. Her name's Katie Jones. It's Jones. Yeah, Katie Jones.
Okay.
Her, if you want her email, it's Katie, KATIE, Katie.Jones@horrocks.com.
What was it?
Horrocks, HORROCKS.
Okay. All right, then, water shares, I don't know why he's got that on there. He's gotta deal with that with Frank, Frank's gotta. With, I mean, that's not yours, he's gotta have water shares, but.
But it will affect the development of the property.
Okay, so how many water shares does he?
Well, that depends on what he's doing. So,
Well, and I have no idea what he's doing other than what he's telling me right here.
yeah, well, it will impact what his requirements are for. There is pine view in this area.
Yeah, we're in some of you.
So there's pine view not too far from here, but these properties that are surrounding this property are flood irrigating currently. Off the ditch that runs here. So. Again, if he's doing a development, then he's gonna have to put a pressurized water system in if he's not in a pine view. But if there's pine view in the area, then he just needs to extend the pine view infrastructure to.
Right, and turn over whatever shares.
Yeah, pine view determines the shares.
And that would be 2 acre feet per acre for residential.
2 shares?
No, 2 acre feet per acre. It depends on what water you have and how many acre feet to share. So 2 acre feet per acre, and then if it's commercial, it's 3 acre feet per irrigable acreage.
So that's the big difference. Make sure you catch that, 3 acre feet per irrigable acre. If you're doing commercial.
Residential is just straight.
Overall, but commercial, you just take whatever your landscaping area is, you just need 3 acre feet per landscaped area. So it'll come in.
Even if it's like dry scape or zero scape, it's still.
But that'll come in lower, that'll be less than your residential. Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or talk about wetlands, egress.
So that's
Egress.
UDOT.
So,
Here's a Highway 89, but you can do, depending on what their plan is, because this would have to go through a rezone for Harrisville, obviously. But they'll do a pre-application meeting at UDOT. They usually include us on those meetings. And then depending on what they're proposing, they'll tell them what their requirements are. There is no. To go back to GeoGizmo, there isn't really a connection on this side. So
The only one on that side is the new, it's up a little ways farther, that's new subdivision that you get.
yeah, it's
Right about,
Ashler Cove is right across from Pennsylvania here. But this property just has a residential property that accesses off of North Harrisville Road. So I'm not sure, what I'm saying is I don't know what UDOT will tell you. Because most of the time they like to line up access points across, but I don't know what they'll say on this one, because there's not really an offset, right?
hopefully
So
no,
that that would be UDOT.
Okay, now we're at the fire lane width, turnaround and dead end. Second.
So the fire
Fire marshal.
marshal, Northview Fire District, answer that. But again, a lot of these questions are based on what their
Yeah.
proposal is.
Yeah. Okay, he's got a current zone and future zone. What is the process like? How can they rezone it?
So that depends on what, I think our future land use map does show mixed use in that area.
Yeah, that was mixed use when I talked to you.
Yeah, it's currently agricultural, so it is. It is eligible for the overlay. And it would be residential, so they wouldn't have commercial, but it kind of makes sense to put commercial there.
Okay, and then you want to know how to calculate density calculations and it's townhome down the street.
So we don't have a specific density requirement, but where this is agricultural and not commercial, it's hard to know exactly what the council will want. When you abut a lot of, agricultural property, they're a little bit more hesitant to do a higher density.
Summit view in here.
Yeah,
It's a summit view.
it's, so they're not,
Are they 6?
it's probably 6.
Which one's some, where's some of you?
That's on the Wallen property,
It's under development right now.
Okay, and then that piece
And this is
between them,
the school.
is the school.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're
The
looking.
school.
So ideally,
the school is technically supposed to sell that under the state law.
no, I don't know.
Wait,
that
what's state law?
State law just changed what this last legislature, and if they have excess property over an acre, they have to sell.
Their charter school, is that?
They're-
applied?
Yeah,
I think
they're
it's
charged for public,
I
so
think it applies to everything.
they will be able to do private for public, for charge for public.
We would have no idea
Okay.
on that
Yeah,
requirement.
he asked me to ask that, and I said,
I
I
was
don't,
gonna say, that's the school district, we don't.
no, they don't use that back
Well,
there.
they built the building back there, they use it for, agriculture.
Yeah, but the building they built is on the bottom part of that back there. It's not back all the way to the back part.
So,
Oh, you're talking about that building way back in there?
Well, I know they use it for, they have a teacher there that teaches the students agriculture and,
Oh,
so they definitely could prove that they use it.
so there you go.
yeah,
It'd be, I mean, so some
they are in
use stuff.
389. But where it's all currently zoned agriculture. That's where it's tough.
Yeah.
6 units per acre is probably what you guys think.
I mean, that's kind of what we've gone with on other mixed use developments, but
Mixed use for, mixed use, because it's supposed to be mixed use residential, not mixed use commercial.
Yeah, I don't know where this doesn't really have an underlying commercial. We haven't talked a lot about what the future use of it is. I know that it's been talked about being combined with some other projects. We talked about density that way. You know, I'd love to see a whole redevelopment of this entire
Yeah.
corner.
So it's mixed use residential is the red,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Because it's agricultural.
yeah.
And that's why I think his pictures, I mean, ever since he's been talking to me about making an office. They talked about frontage being commercial and then behind it being residential. And I don't know how they're developing that. I don't know how that will be developed,
But-
even a plan.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of opposite of what everyone else comes in here for. They want the whole thing residential because commercial's kind of difficult to build right now. And you have the option to do all, right? This one has a
Well,
smaller.
let me, this is
Commercial
their,
requirements.
this is
Smaller
what they're
commercial
proposing.
requirement.
Let me read this, I mean, because it's at the bottom, but it's what I'm talking about. He says, we're proposing a mixed-use townhome community that balances Highway 89 frontage commercial with owner occupied housing and amenities. The live at work condo style layout gives flexibility to small businesses and investors while providing stable housing that better fits Harrisville's long-term vision. The townhome sit just behind the commercial frontage, creating a privacy from the main road while still staying connected to the shops and services. This balance offers residents a quiet community feel with the convenience and privacy of the nearby commercial space.
Okay.
So they're talking about commercial residential is what they're talking. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, okay, but it looks kind of like just.
I think with,
Shop space, I guess, is.
yeah, I think when I,
Yeah.
whatever they've done before, that little picture that they showed, I mean, that was definitely, they had the commercial up front and then they had residential behind it and they had parking between it. But I don't know if that's what they're proposing here or not, that's just, it makes sense.
So the only, yes, could what they're asking for happen in this space? The short answer is yes. I have some concern of what he's defining as live here, work here, because we're not a fan of those combined. Live on top and have the commercial on the bottom, you know, write that out, it's not working well.
Yeah, I don't-
Unless it's least entirely separate.
That's
space.
true.
Right.
But yeah, where if you have like apartment style above an actual commercial shell, that's something that might be viable, but the combined townhome concept we've tried and they just sell as townhomes, they're just not working as commercial.
Yeah, you see some of those,
So you're talking about townhome, commercial townhomes? How are you talking about?
well, so these live here, work here that have gone in a couple spots, they sell the whole unit.
So the people
Together.
can live in them and work in
And
them?
work out.
I
But
don't,
they just,
I don't just think, yeah, but I'll make.
But some of these other ones, like you see. Kind of by like the track station in Layton, there's a few like that where, right, they're leased out completely separate.
they actually separate, at least the bottom is commercial and
Above
then it's
is
department
just
about.
complete commercial space, and then above is separately owned residential, apartments.
Something like that, I think we would be open to, but
Right.
not a repeat of what.
Right.
So it just, again,
Right,
a lot of
right,
questions from our
right,
side,
right. Yeah,
In the realm. I think we're in the
Okay.
realm.
yeah,
all right.
but the general idea is still.
Okay, the
yes.
quickest route to develop, to get a development idea, I guess everybody wants to know.
Mixed use is not quick. The negotiation process is months long to come to a concept plan that's. And the actual mixed use application can be found here in our code under 11.11. So there's a lot of things that are,
11.11.050 is the one I want.
this whole section is our mixed use. 11.11. And so there's a lot of things that are required for the application.
So what if they, I mean, he hasn't even asked me this question, but I'm gonna have the answer back. What if he just wants to do like multi-family type things, not multi-family, but what we talked about in here, he just wants to put apartments or those things in there, isn't that mixed use as well? Okay, so what would be the density there that you guys would be? I guess that's,
We don't have a set amount,
so he would
but
have to come with,
we're going off the, yes, but we're going off kind of the state's guideline that the highest density is 6 per acre, 6 units per acre.
Or the lowest density.
Or sorry, yes.
The lowest density, six units per acre. And where this is agricultural, we're leaning more towards 6 in general. Is that the feeling I'm getting? If it was zone commercial, I think they might be more apt to go higher, but where it's zoned agricultural, moving up to 6 might be a good,
But they could propose something that's completely residential.
well, and that's what they're gonna have to do, I mean, at the end. Okay, wants to know about known constraints, anything,
I'm sorry,
known constraints, I guess, anything that's.
that's a hard question from our perspective, because there's gonna be UDOT access that's gonna be.
I think the biggest thing was you probably can only get one UDOT access through there, and if you have more than 30 lots, you're gonna need secondary access out of there. So that means figuring out
Summit Views has a,
Estella
So more than
River
30 lots, they have to have.
secondary access, and I don't think UDOT will allow 2. Do you think they would? I don't know.
not in. Not with the charter school right here.
So,
That's already been exhausted. So figuring out secondary access if you go over 30 would be.
yeah, maybe you could work something out with the school.
And road to the path their property.
So they're technically supposed to connect to
They're
this
supposed to
stuff right
connect.
up here,
Yeah,
but. That was a UDOT requirement, not a city requirement.
Oh, UDOT required them to do that, yeah.
they haven't done.
Well, it's, the
but
road's
this-
not there yet.
So once the road.
But some of
it's the
you,
stub
but
road
some
that's
of you will
here.
provide a connection. Like can connect, but,
So if the school actually, let's say, for example, I mean, this, I don't know if they're thinking of doing this at all, but he approached the school and the school's gotta have a secondary exit. So if they brought that out to Highway 89 there, they made a big loop from their property out to the school. That would be the secondary exit.
UDOT wants that secondary access in their agreement is to 1100 north.
But they
of the
can't go
highway.
to 1100 north because of that new construction that's blocking that, right?
Well, no,
No,
so they're stubbing a road right here.
Oh, they're stubbing the road right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
all right.
so this road would come up into here and potentially maybe
Yeah,
you could
okay.
have some T somewhere where
Yeah.
it'd come over to.
We wouldn't want the secondary access to be the access that the charter school has on 89.
Yeah, your secondary.
Your secondary access couldn't be
Oh, I
there,
got you.
yeah, that couldn't be your secondary.
They might consider yours a secondary access from the school,
Right,
but we wouldn't want the reverse to be true.
yeah.
So the best thing is connectivity through this whole space.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, I don't want to contradict you guys here, but that's what they're doing regardless. If you put a secondary exit up above or in the out front, they're still going through the school.
Well, there
It doesn't matter, UDOT's requiring a secondary exit here, but that means that somebody's coming the other way through the school.
Well, they're going to require this to just be,
Right in, right out.
yeah, right in and right out.
So they're
Close
requiring
that
a
off.
one-way through the school?
Oh, you wouldn't, the other properties would not be able to go through
To
the
come
school.
through, right.
Yeah, they would be
One
blocked.
way, yeah.
That would not be and that would not be a public street going to the school.
But didn't UDOT open a can of worms there by requiring that? You're either gonna have to put a one-way road in there that nobody's gonna be able to maintain except for you guys. Or you're gonna have an access going to the school that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? It's just to me, as a normal citizen, you're opening
Yeah,
up.
no,
a can of
so-
worms here.
This is all their property, and so we're just worried about here or here for them.
I know, I understand
did
what
you
you're
touch
saying,
it?
yeah, I understand what you're
So-
saying, but if you open up a road there that you don't.
A road that goes through here.
No, I don't care about us per se, I'm just saying, UDOT requiring them to go through, that's opening up a road there that somebody's gonna go through and go through that school.
So this would just be on private school property, so this would just be their road that connects to a public road right here. Only this part is public.
Unless they.
Unless this is developed, this whole part would stay private, so it'd be it'd just be their access essentially, not a road.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it would be a one way.
Out.
Yeah, I don't care what happens there, but I'm just saying that's gonna open, I was at school, leave it the way it is.
If it was developed, yeah, if it was
They-
developed, it'd be different.
They are doing exactly that. They're leaving it.
Just to protect the kids, you know, but anyway, and then hidden expectations, last question.
Not really protecting the kids right now.
Yeah, but
No,
Isn't it-
put them all out on the
What?
highway.
Expectations, I don't even know.
I don't know what that means either. That's too vague for me to answer. So
It's like,
hopefully there's some help in that.
well, I'm hoping that these two can come to an agreement and move on and
Get you out of the middle.
get me out of the middle, yeah, that's what I would hope.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it might not go through, it's at the early stages, so
Okay,
we'll see where it goes. Do you need a copy? Well, that's fine, it's just letting them come in.
yes, we do need a copy if they're gonna come talk to the city. So we can just take a copy and give you their.
Well, it might change, this is because there's not an agreement, once there's actually a contract, then something about it, then they can come do it. But Frank put a due date on there for them to do it, that due date. And I made sure my name was on there too, so I need to come in and represent Frank.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, hopefully, this has been a year-long process. Hopefully it goes somewhere, if it doesn't. All right, so the biggest issue really right now, if I'm not mistaken, is the wetlands on the north and the FEMA on the north, wetlands on the south. Okay, yeah. And. Okay, all right, I'll bring that up.
Okay.
That might be a done deal anyway, I don't know if they want to go through that.
Don't forget your phone.
Yeah, and then I got that.
And then he'll bring that back.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Brent, thank you for your patience. Come on up. This should be pretty quick, except I want to plug in. I don't have. I don't have the most recent.
The most recent phase two. Kenny, do you know? You guys done a well serve on phase two of Dixon Creek.
Friends, baby.
Dixon Creek Phase 2.
Check that. I'm not sure on that.
Do you have one from us?
Yeah, so I think, Dan, I think yours was for the whole phase 1 and phase 2, because I think they already stubbed. If I remember right.
So, yeah. So we met, just to bring the committee up, the land use committee or everyone up to speed. We met with Scott Smoot, Brent, DR Horton, Matt and I met yesterday. We came up with a solution for the floodplain. We're going to give them, we're gonna grant final approval on the actual plat, but we are gonna hold off on recording it, but let them do the infrastructure work on phase 2. And then they're gonna complete the requirements for the fill that FEMA's requiring. They're gonna have it resurveyed, resubmitted to FEMA. And then once they get their LOMAR completed and the finalized document, will set up escrow by them recording. So they're not gonna record a plat until the LOMAR's out.
Yeah.
We got the grade down that phase. Should go.
But that'll give them the time frame, the 90-day time frame for FEMA if they need it to be able to review the changes there, so.
Yeah, so I just need to make sure, let me look in my folder if I have them. Just need to make sure we have all the outside agency approvals,
In phase 2 is on the north side. Or is it
Some
north
falls.
and west? North and west.
um.
Oh, yeah.
So we issued. Will serve 7/25/24 for Dixon Creek phase 2. And those are only valid for a year, so we're going to need to. Review everything, make sure nothing's changed as recent reissue certain.
Yeah, it's all the same, so. Yeah, ours is all done at the same time.
Okay, so you're good, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay.
North Fire.
Yeah, I have Northview Fire phase 1. Do you know if there was a phase 2? I'll double check with Brian. Okay. That would be the only thing, so we'll just get an updated one from you guys.
Yeah.
And then double check with Northview, but as far, and then we can just have Jack circulate the letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need a Northview Fire phase 2, finalized Bonavista. Vista.
Yeah, so this is essentially, right, this is all stay the same. So we're just talking about these units up here and then this. Yeah, that's right, because Pine View, all you had was just the one service here and then
Yeah, we
one
have
over here.
3 services.
That's right,
They're already.
they're already in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
All right, so Brent, Kenny, you guys will issue a new letter?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll email or call Ryan. See if he can get us a memo. Or
You're gonna contact him?
Yeah.
and then you'll let us know when the LOMAR gets finalized
Yeah, I'm gonna call him today, get him back out to service.
to survey it, okay.
We finished the grading.
Okay. Anything else, Matt?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
So once we get those letters, we'll do the final approval letter and we'll email it to your team. Okay.
Good.
All right.
Great.
Thank you. Sorry I had to
Thanks,
wait so long for that.
That's all right.